History remembers the headlines. We find the bylines. This is the unsung. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong took his famous first step onto the lunar surface. The world cheered for the astronauts, the engineers, and the incredible technology that made it all possible. But behind that giant leap for mankind was a woman with a pencil and a brilliant mind, Katherine Johnson. Her calculations were the invisible thread that ensured Apollo 11's command module and its lunar lander could meet back up in the vastness of space, a problem so complex that even the early computers of the era could unsolve it with certainty. Yet for decades, her story was a footnote, her name unknown to the very public whose imagination she helped capture. So, how did the woman who literally charted the course to the moon become one of space exploration's most essential, yet nearly forgotten, figures? Katherine Coleman was born in 1918 in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, and it was clear from the start that she was extraordinary. A true child prodigy, she had an insatiable curiosity and a profound gift for numbers. While most kids her age were in elementary school, Katherine was starting high school at just 10 years old. She raced through her education, graduating from college at 18 with degrees in both mathematics and French. For a while, she worked as a teacher, but her destiny lay beyond the classroom. In 1953, she found her calling. She joined the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, or NACA, the organization that would soon become NASA. Stationed at the Langley Research Center in Virginia, she became part of a group of African-American women known as human computers. Their job was to perform the complex mathematical calculations that engineers needed to design and test aircraft. In an era of segregation, they worked in a separate section, but Katherine's talent couldn't be contained. She stood out immediately for her incredible speed, but more importantly, for her flawless accuracy. She wasn't just a number cruncher. She wanted to understand the why behind the numbers. She began asking questions, pushing to attend the briefings with the all-male, all-white flight research teams. It was an audacious request at the time, but she simply told them, "Let me go. Let me see what's happening and I'll do the work." And they did. Her brilliance was a language everyone understood. Katherine Johnson's career at NASA is a highlight reel of America's most daring moments in space exploration. Her work was the bedrock of confidence upon which these missions were built. It began with Project Mercury. In 1961, when Alan Shepard was preparing to become the first American in space, it was Katherine Johnson who calculated the precise trajectory for his Freedom 7 capsule. She plotted its flight path from launch to splashdown, a short but monumental 15-minute journey that proved America was in the space race. Her reputation for unerring accuracy became legendary. A year later in 1962, John Glenn was preparing for an even more ambitious mission, to become the first American to orbit the Earth. NASA was using a brand new IBM electronic computer to calculate the complex orbital mechanics. But Glenn, an astronaut who understood that his life depended on those numbers, was hesitant. He trusted people more than machines. Before he would launch, he made a famous request. He said, "Get the girl to check the numbers." That girl was Katherine Johnson. He famously said, "If she says the numbers are good, I'm ready to go." So, Katherine sat down and by hand ran through every single calculation, the launch, the orbit, the re-entry. It took her a day and a half, but when she was done, her numbers matched the computer's exactly. Only then, with her personal verification, did John Glenn feel safe enough to climb into the Friendship 7 capsule and make history. But her greatest challenge, and perhaps her most significant contribution, was yet to come: the Apollo program. The goal was audacious: land a man on the moon and bring him home safely. The math involved was mind-bogglingly complex. Johnson was instrumental in calculating the launch window for the Apollo 11 mission, the precise moment the Saturn V rocket had to lift off for the moon to be in the right place. More critically, she tackled the problem of rendezvous. After the Eagle lander left the lunar surface, it had to reconnect with the command module, which was orbiting the moon at thousands of miles per hour. There was no room for error. A tiny miscalculation could leave the astronauts stranded in space. Katherine's calculations provided the backup navigational charts and ensured that Michael Collins in the command module and Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin in the Eagle could find each other in the void. Her math was the lifeline that connected them back to Earth. Her vital work didn't end there. During the harrowing Apollo 13 mission in 1970, when an explosion crippled the spacecraft, the crew's survival depended on quick, creative problem-solving. The astronauts had to use the lunar module as a lifeboat, but its systems weren't designed for the long journey home. The flight controllers on the ground had to scramble to calculate a new, safe return trajectory. They turned to the foundational procedures and backup charts that Katherine Johnson had developed years earlier. Her meticulous work provided the framework that helped the mission control team guide Apollo 13 safely back to Earth. In every crisis and every triumph, her legacy of precision was there. So what is the true legacy of Katherine Johnson? It's a legacy of exactitude in an age of uncertainty. At a time when computers were new, powerful, but often mistrusted, she was the human element, the final check. Her mind was the ultimate failsafe. Astronauts like John Glenn didn't just trust her math, they trusted her. Her calculations provided the confidence needed to push the boundaries of human exploration. Her influence also extended beyond the equations. As she became a respected veteran at NASA, she became a mentor and an inspiration, especially for women and minorities who dreamed of careers in science and technology. She showed them that the door was open, even if you had to push on it a little. She proved that talent and perseverance could overcome barriers. For many years, her story was known only to those within NASA's inner circle. But thankfully in her later years, the world caught up. She received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Obama in 2015, the nation's highest civilian honor. NASA dedicated a state-of-the-art facility in her name, the Katherine G. Johnson Computational Research Facility. Her story, once relegated to the background, was finally brought into the spotlight, reminding us that behind every great achievement are individuals whose names we might not know, but whose work quietly and profoundly changes the course of history. Katherine Johnson's life teaches a powerful lesson. Contribution matters more than credit. Her quiet brilliance and unshakable dedication helped humanity reach for the stars and return home safely. Her legacy is one of precision, perseverance, and the profound impact one person can have. So who are the other behind-the-scenes pioneers you admire? The unsung heroes of science, art, and exploration whose stories deserve to be told? Share their names and their stories in the comments below. We'd love to learn about them. And if you enjoyed learning about Katherine Johnson, please subscribe to The Unsung for more stories of the people who shaped our world from the bylines. Thanks for watching.